What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Monday Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, we talk about the news that happened in the scale world of RC over the past week. This last week was a fairly slow week, but let's jump into the topics that we have. We finally see Axial come out with the 2-speed kit for the SCX-10-2 kit version of their transmission. Now, that transmission was always advertised as something that was going to be 2-speed capable, and we finally saw the product that they brought out to make that happen. It's taken quite a while. The SCX-10-2's been out for a couple of years now, and we just now see that 2-speed option for that transmission. There has been aftermarket versions available already, but we now see Axial's own version of it released and ready to sell. I myself have never been a big 2-speed fan. I will always tell people to spend that money that you would into a nice censored brushless system, and you'll get all that low speed and all the high speed with a system that doesn't have that mechanical failure point. But if you like the gadgets and you just like to switch gears, I get it, and the links to that product I will put in the description below. Over the last couple of weeks, we've talked a little bit about the new Gmade Bomb. This is a 1.9 scale truck with a truggy style bed and a square bodied cab style pickup. Now, over the last week, they released running video of that. And in the running video, there was quite a few comments about it looking a little bouncy on the suspension and things like that. But I think it was mainly just how it was being filmed and edited. I think that if they would have, slowed down that footage or tried to make it look a little bit more scale just on the editing side, they could have done that just as easily. Still, overall, this rig's still looking pretty good. So I think we're definitely gonna have to get one in our hands, take a really close look at it, see what they've done. Maybe Gmade has finally come out with a model that I think is a good placement in the market. I've had high hopes for Gmades in the past, owned them, and just ended up not being happy with them, not thinking that they stack up well in the market with their closest competitors. But maybe this is the one. So let's look forward to finally being able to get our hands on one of those in the near future. I'll put links to the running videos that they posted in the description below as well. Over the last week, Tamiya, whichever one you like to say, came out with a RTR version of their Hahn Racing Man truck. Now, this isn't scale off-road, but it is scale just on the on-road side. I just always thought that these things looked cool when they came out with the kit version first. Now, the RTR version does come with a 2.4 gigahertz radio and a Tamiya servo and ESC. I think we're all fairly familiar with their servos and ESCs and the quality of those. And then it also comes with a nickel metal battery and wall charger. While I do personally like RTR trucks, kits are always fun, but sometimes it's nice to be able to just pull a truck out of the box and run it. I appreciate that all the same. However, we all know that Tamiya trucks come with bushings instead of bearings, so even if this truck's RTR, it seems like you're still probably going to have to tear it down and replace the bushings out of it. But they do have a nicely painted body, definitely nicer than I think that I could paint in detail myself. So for that reason, I might actually consider picking one of these up just because I still do think that they look pretty cool. If you're interested in one as well, I'll put the links in the description below. Now that pretty much wraps it up for actual news topics over the last week. We had a busy week here in the shop though. I did get the TRX4 Mega Mud Truck conversion started. I picked up that TRX4 lift kit that we talked about a few weeks back in the Scale News Update, and I actually threw it onto that TRX4 Sport that I bought. Now that TRX4 Sport is the bare bones stripped down version of the TRX4, and I actually do like that truck, but I wanted to try out the lift kit, just to say that I actually bought one, I actually installed it, and, have some sort of reason to do so. I thought that I would throw on those big J-Concepts 2.6 inch Fling King tires that we also talked about in the Scale News Update quite a while back. Threw it all together and came up with my own mega truck conversion. Super simple, no fab, all bolt together, simple to do. And I think it actually made the TRX4 Sport look kind of cool for the purpose that it's being built. Now, is it what I would normally do with a TRX4 Sport? No, definitely not. I'll take this truck and throw a big Castle brushless system in it, replace the servo, and we'll go find a deep mud hole and run this thing through, and then I'll hose it off and we'll see how many more times that I do that. Overall, still gonna look kind of fun. We do have some monster truck competitions up here from time to time, so maybe it'll find its way into one of those. Axial Fest is fast approaching. For those of you that are planning on going, You need to wrap up all those loose ends and things like that that you still may have straggling out there. I have a ton of work to do that I haven't started on at all. My ripper needs a total tear down and refresh. I'm actually going to do a little bit of a color change on it, get some things sorted out, make sure that that rig is running at its best for the event. Really looking forward to getting up there, hitting trails, and seeing a bunch of you guys who are going to make that trip as well. For the event as well, I am going to try and find time for one more project before that, and that is that I want to build a little ammo can toolbox setup for events like this. Something that's set up and has a space for all of the tools that I would want to take to an event like this, that they're all in one spot, easily contained. Try and do as much thinking and forethought as I can to try and put together a nice compact toolkit you can throw in the cart easily. Everything's got a spot and you can tell what is in there. So fingers crossed that I've got time to get that done beforehand, but we'll see. And then of course I still have the SCX-10 Blazer video to edit. Now the SCX-10 Blazer arrived, had fun, took it up, did some running up at Cisco Grove, and then I asked Matt at Scale Builders Guild if he'd be interested in doing another budget build, and he said no. Maybe you guys can convince him to do it. Just bombard his channel with comments. If we can get Matt to do another budget build, we'll jump on board and do it. But until then, he said no, so I just don't think that it's probably going to happen. And lastly, I did pick up my Cross RC GC4 4x4 flat nose, semi-military truck style thing. I actually don't know for sure what real size vehicle it's modeled after. Haven't looked into it all that much. Probably need to do a little bit of research on that. But I do plan to build that up, and then rather than use the bed that is provided with that thing, I think I want to do something kind of fun and custom, something totally different. I need to come up with the final ideas for that. If you have any ideas, absolutely throw them below. Right now, I'm thinking that it needs to be a Tamiya Dancing Rider hauler, and that is so far the idea that I'm going to go with. But drop any of your comments below. Love to hear them. And with that, guys, I appreciate you guys all watching. I hope you had a great 4th of July, and I hope you have an awesome week coming up. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're not already. We'll see you next Monday for another Scale News update.